Hi there, my name is Neil. I'm the founder and CEO of Simius, and I'm here to talk about how Simius handles your data. First thing is first, we always only collect the minimum required data. So, what does this mean? It means that we don't do things like fingerprinting, it means that we don't try to link various data sets together. We only collect data that is absolutely needed for us to provide a service to you. So, an example of this kind of data is your email or your IP address. So we collect your email so we can send you updates about the scans that you conducted, and also we collect the email just so we can create an account for you. We collect your IP just so we can actually scan your home. That's the only reason we do so. And you'll notice that both of these things that we collect are only ever used for the things we need them for. We don't try and collect other things like your age, your address, and such because they are not needed. On our register form, you'll notice we collect your name too. But that's just for personalization purposes. So, for example, when we send an email to you, it's always nicer for you to receive something that's addressed to, let's say, Dave or Neil, in my instance, than you just receiving an email that says hello. The next thing is when it comes to storing your data and securing that data, we practice something that is called the principle of least privilege. So, what that means is that for any piece of information we have, it is only given to the people that absolutely need it. So we don't go around giving your data to anybody around. So for example, the scan data. So the scan data is only available to the user. Our developers don't have access to it. The executives don't have access to it. No external company has access to it. All that data is kept closed and only allowed to be accessed by the user themselves, because that's their scan data, they're entitled to it. Other things are general user information, so things like your email, things like your name and such. All those things are stored in places that only you as a user are allowed to enter. So again, developers don't have access to our databases, our data stores, anything like that, our production servers at least. Other people also don't have access to our production servers. And I'll say that right now, there's only one person on the planet that has access to that data. And that is our highest administrator, the person that makes sure that all our stuff is running. And that's because that is their job. And you can see here that this is where we're practicing the principle of least privilege, because obviously the minimum amount of people that have access to something is one, and we've kept that one. We don't spread around your data. The next thing is when it comes to your data being transferred. So for example, when you click something on a website, when you send something on the form, so let's say you're registered, all that data is encrypted, so you can be sure that it's not leaking out to anybody else. And you can also be sure that when this data is stored at rest, it is stored in the most secure fashion. So as I said before, all the information that is in Simius is only accessible by people that need to access it. So you'll be sure in knowing that these things are not getting spread around. For those of you who are still skeptical in how data is used, and I understand where you're coming from, we're a cybersecurity company, so of course someone like me is very aware that companies, they tend to not be very honest. They say a lot of flowery things and say, oh, we're not selling your stuff, we're not giving it out. But how can you be sure? So I'm going to explain to you in a very, I'll say, logical and business-like manner why it is in our best interest for us never to sell your data or to give it out or anything like that. So to put it simply, in the countries we operate in, so for example, Canada and the United States, there are many laws governing the storage and transfer of personal information. An example is the PIPEDA law in Canada. Now, these laws have very, very harsh penalties if us as a company decide to sell your data. And the penalties are in the range of hundreds of dollars per record. So for example, let's say we had 1 million users and we decide to sell that data. Well, the data might fetch us, let's say, $5 per record, but the fines on that data could be in the hundreds of dollars, which would destroy our business. So from our perspective, we have a monetary interest and an interest in existing for us to only ever keep your data secure, for us to never sell it. So if you understand, we couldn't sell your data even if we wanted to, because there are laws around us that protect that private information. Another example is, for example, credit card data. So if you go on Simius and you wanted to pay, that personal information, your credit card info, actually never reaches us. We use trusted intermediaries, so people like PayPal or Stripe, who actually process the data, and all they ever send back to us is the money itself. So your credit card info, your date of birth, your address, your CVC numbers, all those things never come to us. So in the very unlikely event that our databases ever got breached, you can be sure knowing that the hackers won't get anything. There's nothing of value being stored in our servers. And that is the kind of culture we have here, where we try and keep all the very sensitive stuff away from our servers. We don't play high stakes games with people's information. We know how crucial that could be. As an example, I come from a medical background, and as I said before, in the medical industry, personal information is very, very regulated. It is something you don't ever want to fall into the wrong hands. And so that culture has transferred over from the medical company I worked with to this company. We don't want to store your personal information, let alone sell it. We have no monetary incentive to. And of course, we're a cybersecurity company. If word got out that we're selling your data, our business will be destroyed. So you as a user can know that any information you put into us that we ask for, we never take, we always ask for things. So for example, we ask for your name, we ask for your IP address, we ask for your email. Any information that we ask for, that we get permission for, it's stored properly and it's used properly. And as I said before, we only ever use the information for things that need that information. So scans, send you email about your scan results, etc. And I'll say the final thing is, as a user, you have control over your data. And what that means is, if you ever want us to delete anything or everything, just email us and we delete it. We've had a few requests over time. People say, hey, I've used the service, I've gotten value from it, but it's time for me to move on. Please delete all my data. And in less than 10 seconds, all that data was gone and they were happy. So you as a user are in control. And so to summarize what we said, first thing is first, we only ever use your data for things that are needed. Second thing, least privilege. Only people that need to access that data, and the word need is in capital letters, only people that need to access that data get access to it. And right now, there's only one person in the world that ever needs to access that data, and that is to administrate the servers and make sure that all the servers are running properly. Third of all, when it comes to monetary incentives, for us, it is in our best interest as a company to keep your data safe, secure, and contained. If we sell your data, our company is gone, it's destroyed. We lose your trust, and also the law will come after us, so we can't sell your data. And finally, you as a user are in control. So if you want your data wiped from our servers, we wipe it. No questions asked, no huff, no fuss. Now, I hope this was able to allay your fears about how we store your data and how we use your data. If you have any more questions, you can either email our helpline, so help@simius.ai, or you can email me directly. My name is Neil, so neil@simius.ai. And I always answer questions like this within about an hour, 15 minutes, just depending on how much work there is. But when customers email me, when our users email me, I make sure that I answer every one of their questions. No auto replies, no automated stuff. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that we were able to convince you and explain to you why your data is safe and secure with us, and why you should feel safe with Simius. I mean, that's our reason for existing. To make this world safe, to make your devices safe, to make you as a regular person extremely safe in this very dangerous cyber environment. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you later.